All right. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm head rooster here at rubberchickens.com. And today, this is actually kind of an ad hoc sharing session of fears. And I have my friend Richard Arsic. He's up in Canada. How you doing? And so I'm just going to ask, Richard, like what's going on in his life right now that has maybe some fears coming up, because it's my belief that when we share our fears authentically, more people are able to feel and be related to each other's, because I think fear tends to isolate a lot of us, and we think we're completely alone and ashamed of things or whatever it could be. But what I found is like once we start sharing things, we feel more related, we feel better, and we feel more in common with others around some of the fears that we have. So thanks, Richard, for helping out today and sharing something that might be able to help yourself and maybe help someone else in this world that may feel exactly the same as you. And before we jump in,
Yeah,
if people are watching this, sorry, if you could just kind of tell people a little bit about your background and a short little, maybe your journey, and then we can jump into that fear.
sure. My name is Richard Arsic, and I have a website called richardarsic.com, and I'm devoted to helping men and women really step into their fears in order to transcend them and move into their joy. And I'm in the process of doing that myself right now. I have some issues, and I have a bad internet connection, so I'm going to move closer to the source.
Uh-oh.
Pardon me. Yeah, it's just an issue. I'm hoping that this sitting here will solve that. So it's been one hell of a journey. I've sold everything about 2 years ago and stepped away from my own business of over 20 years because I just wasn't happy with how things were unfolding in my life. I knew there was a larger calling here, and I needed to step into it. And along the way, I've had to step into a lot of fears, a lot of uncomfortableness,
Mm-hmm.
and it still shows up. Every time I think I've conquered something, something else comes along to say, And I don't even like to use the word conquer, because what I've discovered is it's not about waging any battles with anything within. It's about embracing and loving what is inside of me, even those ugly parts that I deem to be shallow or fearful or
Yeah. Still there?
it becomes
Okay.
yeah, it becomes less of an issue for me
Mm-hmm.
when I'm conscious of what's going on inside. So right now I am in a dance with fear around the future. I've locked in, my head is locked into the future right now, trying to get certainty around money, around where I'm headed, and it's created a lot of fear inside of me as I've jumped into the future. And I know better, but yet that's where I am. And I'm not judging myself for it. But I can feel the sadness coming up as I speak the words. And it's okay. And I know, my head knows, but right now my body's not following along. My head knows that when I spend too much time in the future, it really screws up the now. And instead of taking each moment and working in the moment to its fullest, I'm over somewhere else trying to go to the end result and then work my way back and figure it all out. And that, what I've been finding is that does not work for me. It keeps me in this place of fear. And that's where I am right now. And I know this too shall pass, but this is where I am at. And it's fucking awful sometimes. And it's a gift all in itself, because it shows me where I still need to do some work.
Mm-hmm.
So fix me, Brad.
No, I won't fix you.
Bring the chicken and fix me, man. I need some chicken soup.
This isn't. Yeah, this isn't about fixing
I know.
people.
I know. I'm just playing. I'm just playing, brother.
Yeah, I know and we have a history, and that's something that I was afraid to admit too. Of like, coming to the realization that I wanted to fix a lot of people. That was something that I didn't realize it was running in the background of my operating system, so to speak, that I walked around this world wanting to fix people because I did it right, or I did this way and it worked out well for me, so everybody else should do it, But
yes, I know it very well.
But what I found is that when I came from that place of thinking and being, I wasn't able to allow people in because they're all wrong. And
they're all broke and they need fixing and they're just not listening.
Yeah. And that was hard for me to admit, because not that I was wrong in doing that, but that I had shut a lot of people out. I didn't let them in to really get to know who they were, because they had to they should have done it my way. They wouldn't have those issues that they have if they just did it the way that I did it. And that was something hard to admit to myself.
I've found for me, because I've experienced the exact same thing, that really the only place that needs fixing, and I won't even use the word fixing it, really what it needs is loving, is ourselves.
Yeah.
And from that place, that love of self actually radiates out to other people, and they attach themselves to that possibility, that good feeling. And from that, they're more receptive to, hey, I invite you to take a look at this. Or, hey, have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
Without going in hard and really getting people on board to the way I think. Oh, God. Could you imagine a world of people thinking the way I think? Kind of scary. And really good at the same time. Yeah, I had to throw that in there.
Well, I do agree with that. Every Canadian I've ever met has been super nice. So maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then there's that.
So I guess to be even more, specific is that, you've gone into the world of entrepreneurship, and, I can totally relate. Like, things haven't worked out the way that I thought they would. And that's scary for me, specifically financially. And it is, it's paralyzing sometimes. It keeps you up at night.
Yeah.
That
keeps me stuck. I woke up this morning at about 3 a.m. and I didn't go back to sleep until probably close to 5 as stuff was running through my head. And, I've been an entrepreneur, and since 1990, I started my first business, and I haven't had to rely on anybody but myself. And that's something that I set myself up for. Because if I relied on other people, they'd let me down.
Yeah.
And that's a sad realization. That was very sad to come to that place, that I've closed myself off from so much because I didn't want to be let down. That if I had control, everything would be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a scary place.
I'm
really starting to step out of that right now.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly where I'm at, like with this chicken, with this whole rubber chicken project community. And my envisionment of this is that this will go viral, that people start sharing with their friends and family of things that they're scared to either to maybe admit, or it could be as small as, like I have a fear. It's not as present as it was when I was a little kid. I used to be horrified of like worms. And I know it sounds ridiculous, and there was no rhyme or reason for me to have that fear. It just was. And it paralyzed me as a little kid. I remember my cousins running around a campground chasing me with.
How did you go fishing?
Lures? Crickets.
Crickets.
Yeah, crickets. And but like what resonated when you said, like trying to do it all, like this project won't go very far if I try to do everything with it, and that's why I reached out to you, because I trust you, and I know you're doing similar work that I've been doing. And when I'm able to let go of control of this project and let it just evolve as it's supposed to, it'll probably be bigger than I ever imagined.
It's highly possible. Yeah.
But that means I have to stop trying to fix everything and make it all right, and then just ask for help. And that's why, I asked you to do this interview, because I don't know how far, this will go with your help. And honestly, if it helps one person see something different and take a challenge in their life and like overcome a fear, it's worth it to me,
I agree 100%. Yep.
So
I'm all about that.
yeah. Is there any other fears that are going on that you'd like to share, or?
Oh, well, sure. Looking back at maybe it's more grief than fear, but I was looking back at leaving my home of 18 years, and I was sad.
Mm-hmm.
In the shower today, in my trailer, because I live in a trailer now, I was moving around there. It was kind of tight quarters, and it's not like having a big bathtub that I'm used to. I stopped, and I laid my head on the shower rod, and I cried, because I was sad that I didn't have those comforts anymore.
Mm.
And it was just a large, overwhelming kind of, what have I done? And I know at my deepest part that I've done the right thing, that I'm moving in the right direction, but because it's not showing up as I want to see it right now, I go backwards now. Yeah. And I look at all the things I've done to bring me to this point, and how they must have been wrong. Yeah. I'm making them wrong, right? Making them sad, and I just want to scream. I want to beat a pillow up. I've got a men's group Thursday night, and I'm going to release some energy, because I feel it inside my stomach and my chest, and it just needs to come out in a clean way, not in some ugly way where I'm hurting somebody verbally or even worst case physically, but that's certainly not the case with me. But I've been known to have a sharp tongue at times, and it's usually not the person that's I'm with. It's something that's going on inside of me when I go to those places.
Yeah.
So I feel that inside of me right now, and it scares me and saddens me.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what else to do with it except express it, let it move through, and not make it wrong.
It's a vulnerable space to be.
Yeah, I feel the wetness bubbling up behind my eyes right now.
I had similar stuff when I this past winter here that I've been in Portland, had the same things going on. What the hell did I do? I had a good job. I'd made a lot of money. Why did I take this challenge on? But it felt right. It felt like the next right move. It didn't feel right to stay stagnant in a cubicle and push some agenda that I didn't believe in forward. And yeah, sometimes it feels like it's greener on the other side.
Yeah, yes, it does sometimes.
And I want my hot tub back.
I miss my hot tub too. That's really, oh yeah. I'm with you there. Getting into that water. Yeah. I digress.
Yeah.
I'm having a moment.
But yeah, the sharing of this is, I think, really powerful. And I hope other entrepreneurs who are doing their own work and trying to make change in the world, that if they see this, they share it with others, because I think there's a lot of other entrepreneurs that ask themselves the same questions. What the hell did I do? What?
Yeah, feeling the same way.
I don't have kids, but I can only imagine if someone's um, believes in themselves enough and their family that they take a risk and they go out with their family, and
Sure.
how debilitating those scary feelings can make, or can, kind of paralyze you. Like, did I make the wrong choice for myself and my family? Like,
Yeah, exactly. And having all that extra weight there of needing to perform, of needing to be that guy that's bringing in this amount of money to help support the family. That's huge.
yeah,
I don't have kids either, and part of me wonders if that would be a motivator as well. But then that, to me, that's a fear-based motivator, or is it a love-based motivator? Could be either one in that case.
yeah, it just depends.
I think that deep love can also bring up deep fear.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't have anything else really. This is just about sharing
Yeah.
our fears and sharing what's real for us, because when we do that, and other people that see this and hear this, there'll be someone that will relate to it, and I believe that
Hmm.
they'll get something out of it, like, oh my God, I'm not alone. And that's what I'm
Yeah,
going to do.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
want to help bring people together.
I hope whoever watches this gets something from it that they can go, yeah, exactly, I'm not alone, and reaches out to you or to me or to somebody and
Yeah.
says, hey, I need to talk to somebody and let this stuff out because it's eating me up, eating me alive inside.
Yeah.
And that's what this shit can actually do.
Yeah.
If it's unexpressed, it just turns into sickness and fatigue and so many different things inside the body.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody, if you're watching and you feel the same way, I encourage you to create a video of yourself just sharing a fear and share that with your family and friends, or write a blog post, in this community of things that you've been going through.
Can they post a video on the community?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So
there
they
you go.
can,
Post your video and be witnessed, because being witnessed in my fear helps me move through it.
yeah. A
It's that
question,
vulnerable place.
a question that just came up to my mind is, I think a lot of men might fear doing something like this.
Hmm.
Especially, I don't see a lot of men that are like yourself that are able to say, I just cried in the shower, because that feels wrong for them, maybe. And that might be a projection on me, but um, can you share something around that before we go? Like,
Sure. Um, what I understand about men and myself, after working with a lot of men for the last 5 or 6 years, is that we are taught that crying is wrong, that vulnerability is wrong, that we need to be strong in the face of whatever shows up. And so many men would rather die on their horse than ask for help. There's that whole thing about when a man is lost with the wife in the car, he wants to look like he knows what he's doing, and he won't ask for directions. I mean, we've heard that how many times? Well, it's true. That's a piece of manhood that I believe really needs to dissolve into something new. We do have feelings. We do have emotions that are running through us that we don't need to repress. That's why men die earlier than women. On average, I think it's 5 or 6 years. They
yeah,
die of more heart attacks, more cancers, more internal prostate cancer, colon cancer, all those retention things where we're holding on to this stuff. It's killing us.
hmm,
And that makes me sad too, thinking about that. And it's just a matter of having a safe place to talk about what's going on and really being vulnerable, because like I said before, when I'm witnessed in my vulnerability, it also allows others the freedom to become vulnerable. Because like,
hmm,
hey, he's doing it. It's not so bad. He's not falling down. He's not dying because he just said that he cried,
yeah,
that he's afraid. So man, there's options out there. There's ways of moving through the feelings that are gnawing inside and that you've been repressing for, well, probably a lifetime. There are ways. And I'm here to help. Brad's here to help. You don't need to be that that tower, that isolated tower in the middle of nowhere with all those walls. Come back and join the village. We need more men.
I just got chills. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you again, Richard, for sharing everything. Rubberchickenstories.com is where the community is at. It's a ridiculous story.
I'm not sure what side he's on, but that's the head rooster.
I'm the head rooster. And
you need the big chicken for this one.
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Where the big, that little one's just too small, man.
Yeah, I got my big chicken. Here's
there
Charlie.
You go.
There's Charlie. Cool. Thanks, Richard. I appreciate it, man.
My pleasure. Take care, brother.
Take it easy.
Bye.